Hello team, another episode of Journey with Michael and Ryan. A very fun topic today. We get to talk about some mushrooms.
Yes, sir.
All the potions, all your genius and all the good things. So welcome to Journey with Michael and Ryan.
How are we doing, everybody?
Hope you're doing well. It's a very rainy day here today.
It's wet, it's cold,
somber. Do you consider a day like this to be, maybe you used to wake up and be like, it's a gloomy day, it's this and that. I wake up now, I'm like, beautiful, it's raining. I get to fill my rain tank. That's the joys of getting older.
I don't have a rain tank anymore, so there's it feeds the plants. I gotta pay for water.
And poor plants getting all those fluorinated water.
I don't know. It's tough.
The magic potions, man.
Yeah, so let's touch a little bit on mushrooms. As I said before, we just drop into these things, and this is the idea. Mushrooms definitely aren't my genius. There's a lot of people who probably know a lot more than I do about them, but we'll just talk in the general context of health and utilization of.
Well, just how we experience them.
Yeah, for sure. Utilization of what's there, and just dropping some knowledge into things that maybe people wouldn't already know. You know, we've got a health and wellbeing company. Mushrooms, one of the supplements we use of 14, but they're powerful. Yeah,
and we've got our organic mushroom tinctures as well. We've got a lion's mane tincture there, and we've got a turkey tail tincture there, and they're organically grown here in New Zealand.
So it's when you look at anything, if all foods could have a benefit, right? We were looking even at it. Cheryl was like, "Oh, have you seen this new product that a company's brought out?" And it's every plant you look at, if you look at it deep enough, it has a compound that'll help you in some way, and you can make a claim on it. So there's lots of people that make claims on lots of things based on small amounts of evidence. The beauty with mushrooms is, and when you're looking at the functional mushrooms, there would be 7 of them: lion's mane, turkey tail, reishi, shiitake, maitake, cordyceps,
and chaga.
If you have a look at those 7 functional mushrooms, the way that they interact with the body is such a it's like when the genius of nature and the genius of the human body just interacts, and that's the beauty of them.
Yeah,
because there's certain foods that just don't have the abilities that these mushrooms have, and there's active compounds specifically in these mushrooms that you won't get in your everyday diet. And it's always interesting conversation that we have with people. They're like, "Oh, can't I just get these things from eating a healthy diet?" Well, no, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. So it's knowing and understanding that there's the utilization is there is profound.
So Ryan and I are in this program called Seed Lab, which we got chosen to through our business beta, and running through all that boot camp and all the cool stuff from that. And they put on different webinars and interactive learning sessions after. And there's a company called Kantar, which basically it's this huge Australian company that just look at data. And yesterday's talk was on health and wellness trends, and it was very, very amazing, very informative. And one of the top 5 searched current search trends in health and wellness is lion's mane. Has about 11 million searches a month on just that word lion's mane.
There you go. And it's one of the herbs, one of the functional mushrooms that we have that when you say it, people are like, "Oh, I've heard of that before."
I've heard of that, it's
when we're selling to people at expos, it's I'll say lion's mane specifically first, because then people are like, "Oh, I recognize that."
Yeah.
I've heard that word before. I mean, and lion's mane's beautiful, man, because of the way it interacts with the brain. I'll probably butcher this in so many ways, so if there's anyone out there fact checking, that's great. But the ability it has to improve our cognitive function is just tenfold. So it interacts in so many different ways, but a few of the main ways is around neuroprotection. So protecting the brain, repairing the brain, and improving the way in which the brain functions. So there's 2 main factors that it has. It helps repair something called the myelin sheath. So the myelin sheath is the protective coating that we have around our brain. It also has to do with the blood-brain barrier. So the blood-brain barrier is a barrier between our brain and the rest of our body, and essentially it's like security guards allowing people into a party.
Yeah, cool.
They only let certain things in, and not everyone's allowed unless your name's on the list. Then you just get kicked aside by all the macrophages. Macrophages are specific aspect of our immune system that's going to kill off any bacteria. So it's like nothing's allowed past the blood-brain barrier except for a very few things. And what lion's mane also does is it helps to inhibit or enhance the way that the synapses in our brains communicate. So it's like it repairs them, and you can actually see it when you like look at it under a microscope of like the synapses after taking lion's mane mushroom actually like reaching out to one another.
Cool.
So it's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it, it's like we are essentially just fucking organic mushrooms. And it's like the way in which our synapses work exactly the way in which the mycelium of a lion's mane mushroom works, where these long antennas that reach out and connect and talk to one another. So it's like that has the exact same interaction in our brain.
When we're, when I'm out there selling the product and talking to people about it, and maybe they've never heard of mushrooms or medicinal mushrooms or maybe anything that we're selling, and obviously we're having a chat about them, I like to talk about it in the way of how the mushrooms are in nature. They link and they actually they connect all the trees and nature and plants, and that's how they all communicate through all of that. Us starting to put mushrooms into our body, it starts to create those pathways, and they all have their different processes within the body. Obviously lion's mane, really, really good for opening up those neural pathways and really helping us just feel that openness and that connective grounding that the lion's mane mushrooms and the clarity can give us.
Yep.
And then you've got like turkey tail, which is what we sell as well. And there's been so many different studies that actually, you see how it starts to get into our body, and what it does, it actually starts to eat away at the dead cells, at the cancerous cells, at all the horrible cells in our body. And, so there are major studies out there that show turkey tail literally eating cancer.
So it's got nothing to do with turkey tail actually eating the cancer. It's got everything to do with that word that I said before, macrophages. So it's got specific polyphenols in it that essentially bolster the way in which our immune response works. So what it does, it's like if you take COVID, for example, what that did is that actually when you got the virus, it essentially put our immune system into like overdrive. So it's like people got long COVID and got so affected by it because it's like you're like revving your immune system at 7,000 RPMs until it blows up. For a lot of people that was like death. For some people that was fucking death, they said it was a lot of people. But what lion's mane does is like if you have an overstimulated immune system, turkey tail does. Should have had a focus before we started this.
I did.
If you have overstimulated immune system where you have autoimmune conditions, this could be like
rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, rheumatoid arthritis. It could be any of the thyroid dysfunctions, so hypothyroid predominantly, or hyperthyroid as well, where your body's actually attacking itself. Essentially, these macrophages stop attacking it because it's like, oh, okay, I don't need to be on high alert anymore. It's like a reminder. Like you can actually just like relax and chill. Then at the same time, if your immune system isn't functioning, you get sick a lot, or your body or your metabolism isn't working properly, then it's just going to bolster. It's going to be like, let's go. Like here's a bit more energy for you. So it's dope.
Magical.
It's magical.
They are magical.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Magical little mushrooms.
Just one of the many potions that we can take and ingest every day.
Totally.
In a nice, healthy way.
Then we got there's so many, and we don't really utilize many of them, to be honest.
No.
They just didn't. When I was creating these products, they just didn't fit. I tried to make them fit, but they just didn't. Like there's aspects of chaga that people utilize for sleep, just because it helps to calm the body down and like lower cortisol levels. But we've got so many other aspects of different herbs in there.
Do you think, like on the mushroom aspect, because obviously we've really gone down the route of like we get it organically grown, we know where it comes from, like the growers are so passionate about it, they do it everything. Is the quality product of the mushroom far superior than the amount that you're taking?
Like the ones that we use?
Yeah. Well, just in general, like a lot of the mushrooms come from a few different countries in the world, and you don't really know what you're getting.
Everything in the world comes from China, essentially.
Yeah.
Everything in the world.
Yeah.
So people are like, your mushrooms come from China. It's like, well, so do your bananas probably. So does this couch. So does that camera.
Or your berries.
So does probably the raw materials that made this package.
Yeah.
Like there is a claim out there at the moment, and this comes from actually a few of the mushroom growers in New Zealand, because it's a great marketing tactic. Why would you be like, oh, your mushrooms come from China? So people are like, oh, everything that comes from China is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's probably some really shit distributors out there. But if you think about it, a lot of the people that are in the health and wellness space, a lot of the smaller brands, like the mushroom growers in New Zealand, our beautiful competitors, they do all the clinical testing on it. Like we test all of our products. When they come into New Zealand, we test them for microbiology, we test them for heavy metals, we test them for active ingredients. A lot of the other companies in New Zealand also do that. The only ones that wouldn't do it would be the big brand supplements, Shotgun, fucking ones that are like, you're paying $32 for 2 months supply.
Yeah.
So you could look at it, if it's low cost, then it's probably going to be low quality. Are they going to be doing the testing? Maybe, maybe not. You can always find that information on their websites.
It's good advice, man. If it's low cost, it's generally going to be low quality, and that's going to be the truth. Certainly, we it costs us a lot of money just to create our product, and that's why it's at a premium level, because we've put the full amount and we've gone the premium level of product, and we haven't mucked around and put a little bit into my claim. We've gone near as close to full therapeutic dose as possible. Yeah. And so I think that's a really good sentiment. Like if it's low cost, it's going to be low quality. It's going to be low quality.
Yeah, low quality or low quantity.
Yeah,
a lot of companies out there as well. Anyone that you're going to get from most supermarkets or like most chemist warehouses and things like that. Yeah, they're a lower cost because they actually buy in bulk, so that they can like potentially justify margins and things like that. But most of the ones that you will find in supermarkets, things like that, they're either going to be low quality or they're going to be low cost. So you can always look on the website of a brand. You can always see if they have testing there, if they don't have testing, or if you email them and ask and they're not willing to supply it, then they probably haven't done it.
Yep.
So how would you actually know what's going to be in it? It's like we have a meeting with our contract manufacturer today to go have a look at testing sleep before they do a new batch, and we'll make sure that we look at every single order and product that they have there and make sure that it's the quantities that we've ordered.
Totally.
Just as a check. Not to say we don't trust them, but it's like that's our due diligence. We'll then do the microbial testing. We'll then do the heavy metal testing. We'll then do the testing to see what functionals are actually in them and at what levels, and do they match the claims that are on the suppliers' dockets. Because that's just the process that you go through realistically, because we want to make sure that we're supplying a quality product. We want to make sure you're getting what you paid for and you're not getting what you didn't pay for.
Yeah. All these little lessons, all these little learnings as you go in. Yeah, but ultimately it just comes down to making sure that we're aligning with our values of innovation.
Totally. Make
sure it's doing what it says it's going to do, and it's going to help people feel different.
And then also not making claims that aren't true as well.
Yeah.
So it's
marketing psychology of it.
Yeah, it's easy to use and utilize the marketing psychology, or even like enhance the claims based off one little thing. It was like, very similar about that product. Shay was like, oh, there's this new thing that this brand's brought out, and like you do like 5 minutes of research in it, and it's like they're making claims about brain function reduces in inflammation, and it's like, yeah, it's because they're high in fat. Like that's what omega-3s do. That's what omega-6s do. That's what omega-9s do.
For sure, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Peanuts would have the same effects.
Yeah.
But so it's like, this is, I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. That is why it is a highly regulated industry in many, many countries, where you can't actually say a lot without getting pulled up. Although a lot of companies do get away with saying a lot.
Yeah.
We're constantly having to review our website. We're having to review advertising, marketing, because they don't actually allow you to say anything. It's because, some people can make claims that are unjustified, or the pharmaceutical industries are trying to hold us back from actually being able to help people.
Yeah, some healthy natural products.
It's a double-edged sword, my friend, isn't it?
But then there's, then you go down the route of there's just mass propaganda, marketing, psychology on all foods that are sold. Like what really is out there that's trying to help you? Not a lot. If you really, but this is where all the confusion comes in. There's so much confusion on a packet, and then, no artificial colours, no artificial flavours. It's like, well, what is that? No one really knows what that means. They just say, oh yeah, it makes it healthier because there's no artificial colours or flavours there. But there's a whole stack of sugar in there. There's a whole stack of horrific GMO wheat, that's going to really just mess with your gut microbiomes and all of that. So
Totally.
It's just being discerning and just listening to your body and just, understanding what works for you.
Totally. And it's like, that's actually, for me, that's why I like that we're a face of a brand.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of brands out there that don't have a face, so it's like, who are you going to blame? Who are you going to come after? No one, realistically. You just go to their info email address and hopefully you'll get a reply. Because it is such an interesting game. But we've got a little bit away from the power of mushrooms, haven't we?
We have. Yeah. We're not going to sit here and talk about mushrooms and not talk about the absolutely beautiful psychedelic kind as well.
Oh yes, psilocybin.
They're a big fan of yours. You're a big fan of them.
I love mushrooms, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be very high on your list of plant medicines, wouldn't they?
I'd say probably second.
Yeah.
After the grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe third.
Yeah.
After Rape.
Yeah.
But
on a psychedelic realm.
Psychedelic realm, yeah, it's one of my funs because it unlocks the neural networks in my brain that allows me to play and have fun.
Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Yeah, they do a little bit opposite for me.
Yeah.
They
you
really
become a
make
little
me
bit
go
more recluse.
quite inward.
Yeah.
And even different varieties will have different things, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy them. They've really allowed me to open up in different spaces and different ceremonies, and are a beautiful guide, but just not the biggest alignment for me. Like it wouldn't be. It's not like my real go-to. Especially if we're like at a festival or something. Like I just won't take them because
Yeah.
It really pulls me inwards.
Just go sit in your tent for a few days.
Just roll around in my own little world, which is still nice. It's great, but at those things I want to branch out and create connections. But
100%, and it's beautiful. This is sort of the beauty of looking at the whole as well, because it's like psilocybin has some great clinical data that's coming when it comes to post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and how it actually helps to reverse and heal that, like from a brain level. And then it's like the interactions with other mushrooms at the same time while you're doing it. It's like lion's mane and psilocybin, they're starting to use them in conjunction together in clinical trials because it's actually enhancing the effects. Like it's speeding up the way in which the neural networks in the brain are repaired. And like those neural, like it's like the psilocybin is reconnecting a neural network that you thought was always going to be broken from a past trauma. Like, I'll never be able to do this again. So that's like healing that. And then lion's mane comes in and just like cleans up behind it and like fixes all the house and makes sure everything's in order, so that you can get on and carry on with life. I fucking love it.
Oh, it is incredible.
100%. And then you got to look at cordyceps mushrooms. Cordyceps mushrooms are fucking trippy. I've got the theory out there that mushrooms are actually taking over the world because of their genius and because they spread everywhere. Like, they're literally everywhere and they're growing everywhere. And who knows, maybe the earth wouldn't even be held together if it wasn't for if it wasn't for the mycelium of the mushrooms. And they literally communicate all throughout the world. And so cordyceps, if you don't know, cordyceps mushrooms, great mushroom for like energy, helps with the production of ATP. So if you're looking to use it for like energy and endurance and blood flow, that's a really great mushroom to take. Like, we've got an energy product sitting in the back burners that we might bring out, we might not bring out, who knows. But that's got cordyceps in it. But essentially cordyceps, the mushroom infiltrates the nervous system of the host and then gets the host to, essentially turns it into a zombie
Yeah.
moves it up into its specific positions, and then when it's ready, the mushroom will just like the fruiting body of the mushroom will then grow out of the nervous system of the host. So it's like, why is it that we've got to a point in life where we're starting to consume mushrooms so much more? You know, maybe these cordyceps mushrooms are already starting to infiltrate us.
Yeah.
And we're merely just people who are their sales assistants. Like we're the ones putting them out to the world. Musa, our mushroom grower, he is just a mushroom man, and he's just been infiltrated by the mycelium of them, and they're like controlling him. They're like, you need to grow more cordyceps.
And anyone you meet that is really involved in mushrooms is really involved in mushrooms.
Totally.
Like they are like, it's their fucking life's work.
They're
It
converts.
becomes it.
Well,
you know?
they nearly killed him.
Yeah.
They nearly killed the man.
And then you like, I mean, you even just in our network, look at Brad, look at like Rosie, like these people that we know who are just so
they're
in love with
indoctrinated.
mushrooms. They are.
They're in the mushroom cult.
They are.
For sure.
Maybe I'm just they're just like, we don't want your kind in our
Yeah,
cult.
yeah, yeah. Get out of here.
You can dabble.
Yeah,
but you're not a full convert.
No, totally. Not allowed in the cult.
But it's fun to think, and even if you want to start playing around with it, start thinking about who's the real top dog fucking conscious sentient being on this planet. Is it us or is it the mycelium?
No, I mean they'll outlive us forever.
Yeah,
we're merely just pawns in this game, realistically.
Like
Because what do we actually add to Earth?
Well, if we all disappeared tomorrow, the mushrooms would just start to eat away at all the dead, and it would just start to bring back to the earth, and it would clean it all up.
Totally. Well, you look at what happened now, how quickly the Earth healed when COVID first happened, like that first month. So it's like, Earth always wins at the end of the day.
Well, we're here because she still wants us to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
She doesn't want us to be here.
There'll be a
just
moment.
one little shake and we'd be all gone.
That's it. They're just using us to cultivate mushrooms at the moment.
This is the mushroom theory.
That's it.
Is being broad and risen here on Journey. I love it.
So it is beautiful. All of them. Maitake, shiitake, I mean, they're just great for like eating, realistically. It's like they have some nutritional properties. They have like different amino acids and different, what's the word I'm looking for? Like different active ingredients in them. They're not as functional as lion's mane, turkey tail, cordyceps, and reishi, but it's like they still have some nutritional benefits. So it's like great to add into your diet.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And if you can start coming along the path and you find yourself into some psilocybin ceremonies or something like that, like if it calls to you, I highly recommend it. With someone who's well versed in being able to hold that space and move through it. I mean, you look at so many epic stories of people just doing it once and they literally remove their PTSD, or their alcoholism is just shifted and changed. Like they've just gone into those parts that are just there through those
journeys,
psilocybin journeys.
And it's one of those things. It's like, is it guaranteed to work? No. It's like it might just be something you have to explore and see how it feels for you. Because we have friends that facilitate and they're like, it doesn't work every time. Nah, it definitely doesn't work every time. But there's the ones that it does. Instant change. And it's like, is it worth having that journey and that exploration for a potential of change? Yeah, definitely, 100%. Because it might then just open up another possibility for a new thing, or it could fucking push you further back. And it's like, that's all part of the journey as well. It's never just going forward.
What's your thoughts on microdosing?
I'm more of a macro kind of man. I've tried to microdose psilocybin, and it's just, I'm too... Nah, when I want to work, I want to work. Like, I want to get shit done. And, like, mushrooms just make me a little bit more floaty. So it's like, there's no benefit to my life.
Yeah. But this is where then the microdose scale comes into it, of everyone is individual. You could be a microdoser that you take an amount that you just don't feel.
0.002.
Yeah, you just don't feel.
They're still working in the background.
Yeah, and you've told yourself there's a more placebo in that as well, because you've told yourself that you've taken this thing.
Well, not even a placebo. You'd still have a very small amount of psilocybin in your system.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's still going to have an effect.
Yeah.
Placebo or not.
Yeah. And then, you get some people who microdose who are like, oh, I want to just feel it just behind my eyes. I want to be able to just feel it. And you got someone who wants to take it a little further and be like, no, I want to kind of enter into it. So this is where it becomes
understanding use.
Yeah.
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 It's definitely a use case. For me, it would be more about, It for me, it opens up. If I was going to do like a creative endeavor, where it's probably more right brain, definitely.
Nice.
Where it's more left and structured and.
But then there is a lot of stories of people who microdose psilocybin and they are healing their anxiety. They are healing their depression. You know, like they are literally coming out of themselves because of this daily microdosing.
Because the compounds are still there. So they're still working. It's just not as profound and in your face.
Yeah.
You know, some people want to heal by going to a rebirthing breath work and try to rip it out. Some people are quite happy to sit in 30 minutes of meditation every single day.
Yes.
You know, it really depends on where you're at it and on your journey.
And this is where compounds, you know, there's not a blanket approach for every single person.
Never.
Even just in our products, you know, like for most people they feel amazing, but then there's still a little part of the market that is like, oh, this actually doesn't do anything for me. It's like, well, that's okay too.
No,
you know,
not
not all herbs and compounds are going to work the same for every single person. And there's so many different variables in that as well. There's got to be different, you know, past trauma experiences, stress-related tactics, your belief and willingness as well, all of the things.
gut health, hormones, sleep, nutrition, all of it. It all counts realistically.
Yeah. So there's no one shotgun approach.
Never.
Just keep trying all the different things.
Yeah, mushrooms. So, yeah.
Fungi, little friends.
Yeah, enjoy the fungi. Have a look at them. There's some dope companies out there that do some cool grow kits if you want to like learn to grow your own mushrooms.
Yeah.
We highly recommend Mushborn. They're great. They're amazing. And then just try the products. Like try them and see how they feel for you. That could be the greatest gift that I ever give you, is just like see if it works. If it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them.
And stay with it as well. You know, like don't take it for 1 or 2 days and think, nothing. It's like,
totally.
No,
it's like
these things you need to work in your body.
Yeah, for sure. Like wait for the interaction to have it. Give it some time. Go slow. Give it some space. Be willing to try it. Try focus. Try sleep.
Create the relationship with them.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, do a little bit of self-education if you want to, or just believe what other people say. All of you are going to be on a completely different journey. Like that's it. Some people be like, you know what, you have conviction in what you're saying. I don't need to do any more research. Some other people, they want to do a little bit more research. So it's like understand how the compounds work for you. Understand that there's going to be variabilities all the time.
I said to my dad once, it was probably last year, I was like, Dad, I want to sit around a campfire with you one day and eat some mushrooms. And he was like, yeah, didn't know how to answer. But I was like, just plant that seed. One day, hopefully it'll happen.
One day, who knows? One day. Let's go, Papa.
Come on, Craig, let's go. Hey, man, that was fun.
It was fun.
Good to extend your genius. I love hearing you talk about all the different plants and products and all the things, man.
I know. It'd be great to have more time to do more research.
We'll create more time.
It's on the board.
Yeah, it is on the board now.
There you go.
Watch the space, guys.
All right, beautiful humans.
Love you all.
You were going to say something?
I was just going to say, hey, thanks for listening. It was a great little send-off.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Bye.
See you later, everybody.
All right, team. We'll be back here. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Shoo.